So Microsoft is up today following earnings after the bell yesterday. Those had showed profits up 21%. It sounds pretty good. You're looking at it right now. But our next guest has been watching the action on Microsoft ever since that earnings release hit the tape and says that the initial reaction might have some eerie signs for the rest of earnings season. Danielle Shay, Director of Options at Simpler Trading, joins us now. So I was here when the earnings release came and we saw, a little in the red and then it came back and we're doing okay today. What has you nervous about the reaction to Microsoft's earnings?
Well, there's a couple different things. I mean, first of all, you have a company that's incredibly strong. It's been the market leader. I mean, people are expecting quarter over quarter, year over year, it's growing. And they released really impressive revenue and earnings estimates. The only thing that was slightly negative about the report was that the Azure growth was, 5 or 6% less.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the stock sells off $3 or $4, and then today it's up slightly, but it's just rallying directly into resistance. So there's really no momentum behind it.
Yeah, I mean, this really speaks to just how demanding people like Danielle and that Wall Street is, because she's talking about slight deceleration of growth.
Still growing.
In a unit.
Deceleration.
Great.
Deceleration at a very scaled company that has just hit a gold mine of a business, a rarity. It's like such a rare thing, and they're like, well, not quite good enough.
Can't
I'm not blaming
by your own
you.
success. The
Right.
bar is too high now.
Oh,
That's absolutely correct. And so, I mean, it's
That is like
you can
brutal.
only continue growing at so far of a pace. I mean, and so this season in particular with earnings, we're seeing that with some of these other companies that are coming out as well. I mean, if they're not performing, they're getting just slammed. And even the ones that are doing well, Chipotle, Microsoft, it's all right.
Well, it's supposed to be a terrible earnings season, just given comps. So, I can understand why it's not. I mean, it's not off to the races time just because we've had so many good quarters in a row now, right?
Yes, that's correct. And so I think that, in this quarter in particular, we're coming into this quarter's earnings in a very strange place because we've already seen momentum coming out of a lot of the cloud stocks, the cybersecurity names that we talk about all the time, right? And now we're coming into this earnings season, and if these companies can't perform, there's just no momentum left in them.
Oh, that's the third time you use that word, momentum, right? And that's what the acceleration versus deceleration. You're looking for growth over growth.
Yes.
It's calculus, right?
Well, so
delta over delta.
Is Azure still, is that the future of this company? I mean, that for Amazon, AWS is still the growth engine, even for all that we love to talk about, going to one-day shipping. And I do feel like Microsoft gets a lot of credit, not only for Azure as a, challenger player right now to the other cloud names, but then we talk about Microsoft whenever we talk about Slack now. And we say, Slack needs to watch out because Microsoft's Teams, which is their version of Slack, a lot of customers who already use Microsoft for other stuff, they're likely to just switch over to Teams. And yet, back to the beginning, I mean, not getting enough credit for that.
Well, and like you said, Azure, it's so important to Microsoft's growth, but it has so many different product segments. I mean, there's LinkedIn now. So I feel like
people forget LinkedIn. Yep.
Exactly. And so Microsoft has been getting so much attention because of Azure, and it's still growing, which is great, but there's still a lot of other areas within Microsoft that you can look to that are very positive.